It's Luke Howard live at lunchtime. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful round of applause. Thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful, fantastic round of applause. Hello. Welcome to Britain's brightest, best radio show. We're starting a little bit later today of the time of 12:35, just after 12:30, due to, as I would say, technical faults. But we have had a bit of issues this morning, but the show's just come onto the edge just after 12:30. So don't worry, if the show's always late coming out, we'll always put it out just after 12:30. And so welcome to the show. It is Monday the 25th of January, and welcome to a brand new week of the one and the only show, of course, as I say every week, Luke Howard live at lunchtime. We're here Monday to Friday, 12:30 to 1:15, and then we're on 10 a.m. till 10:45 on Saturday mornings, just for now, to get you right the way through, of course, today, to kickstart your day, especially at these very strange and very, very weird times, aren't they? Very, very strange. So I'm here to keep you company 6 days a week, from Monday right the way through to Saturday. So sit back, relax. If it's lunchtime, if you're making lunch, do that. Do whatever you're doing while you are listening to Britain's brightest, best radio show. We'd love to hear from you as well. What you can do is you can email the show. It's GaryJHoward68@hotmail.com, or the other email, which is 345-457-@student.hrc.ac.uk. You can also find me on Instagram. It's the Luke Howard fan page, and you could also use hashtags, hashtag Luke Howard, hashtag Luke Howard Live, hashtag Listen to Luke Howard Live, and hashtag Listen to Luke Howard Live at lunchtime. Lots of great things to get in touch, and I will edit everything after the show as well. So so lots of great ways there to get in touch. So go ahead if you'd like to have your name heard. Jacob, who got in touch with the show? Richard from Buckinghamshire has got in touch with the show to say, Luke, the show is amazing. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. And Anne from London has also got in touch with the show to say the show is absolutely amazing, Luke. Thank you very much. Thank you. My thoughts are with you lot for saying those lovely, beautiful messages about me. Yes, and on the show today is a very special day because the 20th of January marks a very special day. Poet Robert Burns. So we're going to be talking about a Burns night because it's tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and the history about it and all about it. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And in the news today, we're talking some very good news. We like to be COVID-free on this show. So our main piece of story in the news today is Boo-hoo by Debenhams brand, but all shops are also to close. So we're talking shops on the show today, including Debenhams. So we'll get to the bottom of that. And we're also talking, we're going to say that now. What national day is it today? It's Florida Day today, and it's also opposite day. It's Bubble Wrap Day, and it's Irish Coffee Day. If you celebrated any of those days today, enjoy. So we're going to talk about a little bit of COVID volunteers. We're going to talk about the nice side of COVID, actually, because I want to talk about volunteers who have been volunteering in where is it? Bridgend in Wales. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And yes, he's back, but bigger than ever before. It is my best mate, Michael Walker. Woo! He's going to be here chatting about the new Paw Patrol film that was set to be coming out last year. So he's going to be here talking in around about before the end of the show, before the end show finishes. So he'll be coming on for an interview a little later on in the show. Okay, so let's kick off then. We've also got some great music as well. We're going to kick off then with the piece of news about Debenhams, because I've got to talk about Debenhams. We've got to talk about this, haven't we? We've got to talk about it because it's really got to me. Okay, it's really got to me, this piece of news, and I'm not being funny. Debenhams is shutting its doors and closing itself down. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, but it's actually upset me a little bit that it's actually going to be closing down. I mean, it's not the right thing really to close a department store that has been going for many, many years. So we are going to talk about that now because it's a retailer, it's a fashion retailer. They also sell some good teas in Debenhams, funny enough, and it's brought Debenhams, and it's called Boohoo. It's a fashion retailer, Boohoo. I mean, why would you call it? I mean, I'm not being funny. Why would you call a department store Boohoo? It doesn't really sound very right, does it? Really, to be honest with you, I mean, I don't actually think it's a very right thing to actually call it there. I don't think they should call it Boohoo. It's not a great thing to call a department store. It's like you go Boohoo. Yeah, but I just don't think it's a very good idea. But they're going to be taking over Debenhams anyway. I'm not sure when about, but that's what they're going to be doing. Now, it will not take any of the firm's remaining 118 high street stores across the whole of the country. It's only 118 stores less, and that does include the one in Stevenage, Hertfordshire, as well. But Boohoo, it was a transformational deal, apparently, and it was a huge step. But I just don't understand why they would change the name to something like that. I just don't really get it. But it means that up to 12,000 jobs at a department store chain are also going to be set to go as well. But a 242-year-old, of course, is going to go because no one's going to be affording. No one can go out at the moment, so obviously it's going to be shutting down. But a 242-year-old Debenhams chain is already in the process of closing its doors, and administrators have also failed to secure a rescue deal for all of those businesses as well. And in a separate development, it also says like big brands like Topshop, Topman, Miss Selfridge, Doc Martin, not the programme Doc Martin, the shop Doc Martin. It's all been hitting brands out of administration. But an online retailer has said it only wanted the brands, not their shops. Yes, not their shops. And it's also suggesting any deal would cost jobs. The current owner of the brands, Ursula Philip Green's Autowell Group, they fell into administration. They did last November after putting 13,000 jobs at that very risk. And it doesn't really surprise me, really, to be honest with you. It doesn't really surprise me. It really, really doesn't. But a closing down date a closing down sale at 124 Debenhams stores began back in December just gone as the administrators continued. They continued to seek offers for all of the parts of that very business. But the company announced that recently that 6 shops, they would all not remain open after lockdown, including its flagship department store of London's Oxford Street. The administrators of Debenhams UK advisor said that they had undertaken a really bad thorough and rigorous process to achieve the best outcome for Debenhams stakeholders. But the transaction is going to allow a new Debenhams branded business to emerge under strong new ownership, including an online operation. And it was also an opportunity, people. It was an opportunity to secure an international franchise network that is also going to be operating under license using the Debenhams name. But Boohoo, yes, or as I like to say, Boohoo! Boohoo! Has already brought a number of high street brands out of administration, because it really, really has, and it's snapped up Oasis and the Coast and the Karen Millen, but not the associated stores. But its executive chairman, I think it's Mohammed Karma, he said it is a transformational deal for the group, which allows us to capture the fantastic opportunity as economies continues to grow, and the ambition is to also create the UK's largest marketplace. The obligation of the Debenhams brand is also strategy, as significant as it represents a huge step with allocators of the ambition to be a leader. And it's not in the fashion comments, but it's also in the new categories including beauty, sport and homeware as well. But the Boohoo, so the Debenhams was also expected to relaunch on Boohoo's web platform later that very year. This year. In the meantime, Debenhams is going to be continuing to operate online on the website for an agreed period. But Boohoo has also recently come under the 5 workers' pay and conditions and its ultra-low pricing, but as well as also facing questions about the environmental impact of the fast fashion business model. There have also been accusations of the widespread abuse of employment law at some of Boohoo's suppliers up in Leicester. But investigations last year suggested that workers were being paid below the minimum wage. After an independent review of the claims, it found a series of fallings of Mr. Currell said that last month, which is December, that the firm was working to fix problems and adding that we will make a better Boohoo. While online retailers have also been whittling away at the high street reveals for years that few could have predicted how quickly Bricks and Molesall Stewart's have collapsed. The pandemic has fatally undermined their already perilous finances, and businesses that agreed, because it did agree to have a chance of survival just a year ago. But they have also been wiped out, and their brands brought by online payers. I mean, they actually have been brought by online payers, but we're not actually going to go there at the moment. I don't think we're going to go into big detail there. I don't think we should. But the scale of the change of a brief found when Debenhams enlisted on the stock exchange back in 2011, but investors valued at a 1.6 billion Boohoo, which was founded only back in 2006. It already had a stock market value of, I think it was 4.4 billion, and a bit player 2 decades ago, when Sir Philip Green's Aquador Group, it was actually riding high, and it was tipping. I mean, I did a little bit of research on this morning, actually, so I know quite a lot about this. A bit for Marks and Spencer's, because a lot of Marks and Spencer shops have also been closing down as well. We speak about this on the show all the time. Lots of high street shops are closing down because COVID has hit, and what it's done is it's just made it all ballistic, and now they've had to close them all again. But Boohoo and ACC any value in the Debenhams or Topshop High Street states, it's also insisted that they will considerate on the development of the brands and the associated customer data, that it is bad news for the 19,000 old people who work in the branches of Debenhams, Topshop, Marks and Spencer's, aka all those sort of shops, but not the food shops. The food shops can stay open, but the clothes sort of part about it is what I'm trying to get here. Do you see what I mean, people out there? Do you see what I mean by the clothes side? But just as accelerated entrepreneurs and private quality companies are gathering up to buy struggling pub chains in the hope of recovery once again. Now this morning, speaking of pubs, Piers Morgan made me absolutely laugh this morning. He said that he was walking up to his pub and looking in the window like a little dog. He said, "Open up! When are you opening?" I don't actually think pubs are going to be opening back up for a very, 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 very long time either. So it's going to be quite a long time to everywhere can open back up again. But Debenhams, it struggled for years with fading profits, and I never actually knew that either, and rising debuts as more shopping has also moved online as well. It called in an administrators twice in 2 years, and most recently back in April last year. But its also position became untenable during the coronavirus pandemic, as non-essential retailers were also forced to close for periodic periods. But the firm had already trimmed in-store portfolio and cut about 6,500 jobs since May last year, as it struggled to stay afloat. Now, businessman Mike Ashley, who founded Sports Direct and also owns House of Fraser, which is also gone, had already, well, not Sports Direct, but House of Fraser has gone, had already made an offer for Debenhams after it was interiorly put up for sale back in April last year. But the takeover offer, thought that to be in the region of 125 million, was rejected as being too low. I never actually knew that, to be honest with you. I mean, I also learn something new every day on this show, and I never really knew that. So, I knew House of Fraser was gone, but I didn't actually knew that it was 125 million rejected as being too low. I never knew that at all, but that's a bit of news that we all learn every single day of this very show, so I learned something new anyway. Okay, so we're talking community news then now. I want to talk community news, because Michael, my best mate, is coming on the show in a little bit. He does this. Yesterday, he cleared up his next-door neighbour's paths. So, I want to talk about this, because I looked at this story and I thought, oh, I must talk about this on the show. Lots of people have been looking after their community in the snow, because the weather. Have you seen the snow over the weekend? The snow was incredible, absolutely amazing. I do want to talk about the snow, because lots of communities have gone out there and have supported local people by getting by clearing up their paths and clearing up the roads. It's better because that means the salt grit can grit the main roads, and then the community people can just grit the little roads, which I think is a very good idea. But volunteers helped us all to clear up a 7 centimetres of snow. A community hospital saw COVID-19 vaccines being given about 300 vulnerable patients, would you believe? But more than a dozen people cleared the car park at the the Mestec Community Hospital in Bridgend in Wales on Sunday yesterday, just gone, where the privacy knowledge jab is being administered. The people with brushes and shovels, they all came to the rescue after a Facebook appeal, and Bridgend Council provided a plough. Now, one local councillor said the community spirit knows no bounds. The Mestec area had been out or near the top of Wales. COVID case rate chart for a few weeks before Christmas, with an infection rate of more than 13,000 cases per 100,000 as its height, and vaccinations were also delayed for about an hour on yesterday, where the West Councillor Ross Thomas, he helped organise a clear-up I mean, the old people can't go and clear it. So what they've done is they've got the community to go and clear it, which I think is a fantastic idea. And it would also have been a disaster if it had cancelled the appointments. Now, COVID jabs at 4 other locations in South Wales had to be cancelled after snow caused with spread disruptions across the UK. Pathetic. They could have easily got to there even if they walked. But Mr Thomas praised the local community for preventing their centre from also failing a victim for the weather. Now, with a new Facebook call out where they had a dozen or so volunteers within the hour together with surgery staff, a number of GPs told BBC Radio Wales about it. And the grounds of the hospital are not small by any stretch of the immigration